the number one discussion and question that I get all the time is about core contraction. When do I contract my core? How do I contract my core? How often should I be contracting my core? So those are the questions I want to answer for you today. Starting from standing position, we're going to contract the core, okay? So it's easiest if you stand with legs together because you can get the feeling a little bit better. Push your inner thighs towards each other. Pretend like you just zipped up something that's too tight for you. Okay, so flat and strong from hip bone to hip bone. Pull all of that up and in. Find your ribs and then make the bottom rib close down like you're trying to push your ribs towards each other. And that is core contraction. It is not a vacuum. It is not like a super flex move. It's just keeping everything pulled in and strong so that it doesn't do the opposite, which is fall out. So the question being, well, how often should I do that? The answer would be always. There's never a time that I would recommend that you just let everything sag and fall out of your body. It's not a good practice. It's not good for any of your systems, your muscular system, the organs that your abdominals protect, or your posture. It's not good for anything, okay? So that's why just making it a practice and doing a few minutes at a time now, in a little while it just becomes automatic. When you're standing, even when you're standing normal like this, you're going to be able to hold your abdominal muscles in and together and keep that area strong. Why do you think some people have a six-pack and some people don't? Well, part of it is because of their nutrition, and part of it is because they naturally already know that the muscles have to be contracted all the time. Not flexed, super squeezed and vacuumed, but just held so that they're holding you together. That's all it is, really. The next position I want to talk about is when you get down on the floor, like you're about to do some fitness on the floor, plank exercises, or a tabletop position. So when you're on the floor, and you put your hands underneath your shoulders, and let's start with just the knees under the hips. Push your weight onto your feet. If you push back onto your feet, what happens? If you try it right now, you'll see what I mean. Immediately, this area has to contract and pull up and in. So anytime that you get down on the floor, I want you to start there. Push back onto your feet and get this part, hip bone to hip bone, strong and pulled back up and in. And that way, when you go into plank, it's a little more automatic. Now, if you have a core injury, plank is a no-no. You're keeping one knee down, which is perfectly fine. But from this position, inner thighs pressing towards each other, navel pulling up and in, and you just zipped up something too tight, and that will keep your core contracted rather than all of this stuff happening and all of this stuff drooping and falling out. Okay, finally, one more position, and that would be when you're lying supine. So let's lie supine on the ground here, which means on your back. Okay, so how do I contract my core when I'm lying on my back? First of all, the ribs are going to want to poke up to the ceiling, so press them back down. What does that do? It makes the upper core kick on. Second thing you do is you tuck the tailbone under slightly and zip up from your knee to your navel. Zip it like you're zipping up a mermaid tail. When you do that, what happens? All of this has to turn on and hold together and stay contracted so that when you do your exercises from here, you're not pushing this area out and in all the time. Keep it in. That's my little discussion for you today on core contraction. Practice it. Practice a few minutes today and let me know if you feel a little different.